Welcome to the all-inclusive podcast, and I am your host, Shy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we have two guests, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. We're going to introduce them, and then we're going to do a temperature check. I'm going to start with the temperature check. I literally just went away for 28 hours, hopped on a flight, did a self-care day.
That's right.
In another state.
Shit felt good.
Felt amazing.
That's right.
Okay? I feel so refreshed. So I'm always hot on recording days, but I'm super hot right now.
That's because of the guests that you have with you.
Really? That's what it is.
That's what it is. I'm a burning motherfucker.
Oh, I know you are. I know you are. So since you're talking already, introduce yourself.
This your boy, Timmy Brown.
Okay.
What else you want me to say? I'm 5'7", straight from heaven.
And Timmy B, what's your temperature check?
Oh, well, I think I'm like at about maybe 98.5. That's some normal shit.
Okay. Yeah. This is going to be a fun show. This is really going to be a fun show. Yeah.
And I got my road dog with me, too.
Right.
Speak on it, baby.
Yeah, so, because he's the host today.
That's right, I know.
Yeah.
The hostess with the mostest.
With the motherfucking mostest.
And I got my road dog.
And you got your road dog. Can she be my road dog, too?
No, hell no.
No, okay. Well, she is my road dog.
I ain't Shan.
Okay.
Okay, go with it, baby.
So, introduce yourself.
Hey, y'all, I'm Creisha.
That's my daughter.
I'm his road dog.
That's my daughter.
My temperature always kind of like lukewarm.
Woo.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm hot tonight. I'm excited for you tonight with this show.
Yeah, thank you. This is definitely going to be a fun show.
Oh, yeah, you better know it.
So tonight, the topic is relationships and sex. Okay.
Oh, you ain't tell me the in sex part.
In sex.
Oh, but you got the right
In
You want me to talk about sex with my father?
You ain't talking about it with me. You talking about it with them.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
What's you wrong? Because I'm sure we're going to talk about it.
Right.
My temperature is cooled off.
Your temperature is cool, though.
Cool as ice.
It's cool as ice.
Blood pressure probably went down and everything.
Did it go down or did it go up?
No, it went down.
It went down? Okay.
Down.
Okay.
No.
Listen, if you don't know already, this is family here. Yeah. So this is going to be a super duper fun show, super duper lovely show. Like, we going to crack jokes. We going to speak some shit. We going to talk some shit. But all in all, the show is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So y'all had your introductions. Everybody knows what my preference is. What's your preference?
Preference for is what?
Sexuality.
What's your preference?
I'm a lesbian.
Hey, that's some shit. Me too. Both lesbians.
We both lesbians.
Yeah, where you get your card at? Your membership? Did you have to apply in person or did you do it online?
No, it happened at birth.
Oh.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I feel you.
Yeah.
Because, see, when I came out the womb, I kind of knew I was a lesbian.
You kind of knew?
I knew it.
Okay.
I knew it.
You like women?
What?
Okay.
When that nurse smacked me on my ass, I was like, do it again. It ain't my fault.
So, what's your relationship status? Single, dating,
Trash.
Damn. I work for the Department of Public Transportation. I'm a
Department
mover,
of Public
Yeah,
Transportation.
I move them in and move them out. Hey, look, and if you got a bus pass, that mean I get some ass. No, seriously.
Oh,
Seriously.
wow.
Let me stop. No, seriously. I'm single by choice.
You're single by choice.
By choice.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
So
And
let's dive into that.
Yeah.
Why are you single
you know what?
by choice?
Well, wait a minute. First of all, I'm an old dude.
Mm-hmm.
Not that old, ladies. But I've been through some shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And not to say that everybody is alike, but those characteristics are there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So being in a relationship, man, you go through some shit. Expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Expectations. And I don't mean like that little store up there in Orange Mills where it's an egg
Mm-hmm.
expectations.
Yeah.
No, I ain't talking about that. Expectations. And with the relationship, it comes a lot. Comes a lot. You supposed to do, you gotta do, you wanna do, she expect you to.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So this way, me working on me, because I done been through some shit in life as everybody. You know what I mean? So I wanted to make me a better me.
Right.
I mean, long before I can get with anybody else and make it a better us, I had to make me a better me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's what but I make it perfectly clear. You know what I mean? I tell them straight up the jump. I'd rather have you as a friend. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because, see, friendship, no expectations. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I like that. And friends just seem to, we talking about real friends here. We're not talking about that stuff, politically correct shit that they got out there.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about real friends. When you take time and you get to know somebody.
Right.
You feel me? And
Yeah.
you don't expect nothing. So however they are, it's how they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to accept it
Or you not.
or you not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's when I say that I'm single by choice.
Okay.
That don't mean I want to jump around and jump on everything. No. That's not what it's about. It's just that for me, and me being an older cat, man, and been through so much, I get into a relationship. I don't even want to get into a relationship. I'm going to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. But see, a lot of people will say, well, you're older, you don't want to settle down, but you're content
Hey,
in your status.
I'm old. How much more settling can I do? I'm already settled down.
Right.
You feel me? I don't need no woman to be settled. You
Right.
know what I mean? Or to make me what? A better me? Or hold me?
But you know what? Unfortunately, and I'll just say this while you're saying that, you have a lot of people who don't know how to be alone
That's true.
and be happy with
That's
themselves.
true.
Yes.
You know, some people just crave that where they have to have somebody.
Yeah,
So when you are content with yourself, and that's not to say that you don't want a companionship or
right.
somebody to kick it with from time to time, but you are happy with yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I'm cool with it. And you know, I have friends, maybe some with benefits.
Right. Maybe
But-
There
some.
you go.
You cool, you
There you
know.
go.
Yeah.
And kudos to you because that's awesome. I see a lot of people that will settle for certain things because they just don't know how to be by themselves.
Right.
Mhm.
You know. So
They back and forth with an unhealthy situation. They know the situation's not good. It's no fruit from the situation.
Right.
But they're like, well, at least I got somebody to lay
Yeah.
next to.
Yeah. And see, you know what? In this day and time, we're going to speak on this day and time. We're going to talk about when I was older or none of that. We're going to speak
When you
of
were
this
younger?
day and time.
when you were
Or
young,
when I was older.
older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
When you was old. Okay.
Yeah,
but okay. I'm gonna let you hear
I
that.
was old back then.
Okay.
Okay.
No, but when I was younger, it was one way. But we're gonna speak about now. You know what? With the way we're gonna put it like this: the way that society
Yeah.
has us depicting ourselves. Our women out there with halfway near nothing on. You know what I mean? Okay, call it style, call it what you want, but you got everything is about sex,
Mm-hmm.
money,
Mm-hmm.
clothes, fashion, what car you drive. So when a lot of people get into things, you know what I mean? They see them and they see that one thing. Like with everybody, it's that one thing that's appealing.
Right.
Once you see that appealing thing, everything else go the fuck out the
It's
window.
wheels of men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hook,
Yeah.
line, and sink.
But not what
Yeah.
you say the wheels of men. Women like that too.
No, I'm saying it wills them in.
Oh yeah, okay.
Is what I said.
I must have
the
drunk too
visual.
much. What she give me? Anyway, look, but you're right. That's what it is. They give you the perception that this is the thing that appealing. Big breasts, big ass, halfway got your clothes on. Now it's that new African dance. You catch a broad on the floor and she boop, 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 and she popping.
What new African dance?
You know that? Is it old?
Sing
Well,
it.
it's old for Africans.
How does it go? What the song say?
I don't know why she asked me to sing that. I'm used to the OJs and the Temptations. I don't know that other shit. She know it. It's her song. Tell her to sing it. How it go?
Make me
Sweat.
There you
Yes.
go. Make me water. What the fuck? Come on, man.
Yes.
So we get this preconceived. No, even all the way down to the kids. You see these little kids now?
Mm-hmm.
They out
They
there.
not kids anymore.
No,
Yeah.
no, wait a minute. They still kids. They just got the wrong concept.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We putting them in the state of mind of what we see. You know,
Mhm.
they children.
Yeah.
So we give them this preconceived notion that it's about. Can you imagine a 9-year-old little dude and a little 12-year-old girl get together and she tell her nigga that, make me sweat, make me water. What you think he gonna do? He damn sure ain't gonna dump no water on her.
Right.
You feel me?
Our children are definitely exposed to
Yeah.
so much, and I think that. And don't get me started on this, but I think social media
Yeah,
Yes,
bruh.
definitely.
plays a
What?
lot.
Definitely.
Because the reality is, my granddaughter is 8 and 4, 2 of them. And they both have cell phones.
Yes.
They like TikTok and
Yeah.
and you can tell your children, hey, don't you look at this and don't you do that.
Yeah.
But the swipe of one thing and everything's there. So our children are
Exposed to a
not
lot, yeah.
not necessarily intentionally, but they are exposed to so many things,
Mhm.
But you
and
know what? And excuse me for cutting you off. But the one thing about that is not just the fact that they got it, but it's what they are allowing to be put on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you going to, well, okay, when I was little, we ain't had nothing like that. So
Mhm.
we had to use our imaginations, but our imaginations didn't consist of sex. It didn't consist of shaking your ass. It
Mhm.
didn't consist of that. I mean,
Right.
Because guess what? Our parents didn't put that in front of us.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So it's like now, I think that, and I'm gonna say this because it is what it is. I think a lot of it comes from the parents.
It do.
Yes.
You
yes.
feel me?
Parents are
That's-
getting younger and
Ain't
younger.
that who teach it?
Yeah.
Grandparents are getting younger and younger.
Yes.
Hell
Absolutely.
yeah.
I was a grandmother in my 30s.
Yeah,
Wow.
but
You know?
but
Yeah.
even with that, but I'll tell you something. She was a grandmother in her 30s, but she had her principles. She had her priorities.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Cause I know how my daughter came up.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
feel me?
And
she
although
wasn't exposed to no shit like that.
my daughter, I was a young mother, but even in that, my children were raised,
Yes.
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah.
And I just say that to say, yes, I was a grandmother in my 30s. However, my daughter was 20 when she had her first daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a great mother. But at that young age, it's just some things that we
It's a lot of
necessarily
shit they don't know.
don't know.
They don't know. Yeah.
You know, it's
yeah.
some things that we think, and I'm not speaking
Yeah.
about any particular person, but I'm just saying when we're younger, because even myself, I was a young mother. It's just certain things that you think is cute. It's certain
Yeah.
things that you think is funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, and it's unfortunate because what's happening is we're starting to see a lot of these things that we see. We're seeing these carjackings. We're seeing these
Yeah, because we were
shootings.
going to hit on that today.
Yeah.
We're seeing
Yeah.
all of that. And unfortunately, parenting just isn't parenting. And,
Yeah.
and it starts at home. I'm dead serious, like not to get off topic, but start holding these fucking parents accountable for this shit these kids are out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
at 2:00 in the morning, why you outside getting shot when it's a school night and your ass should be home?
Home.
Yeah. But
Exactly.
see,
You know.
You know what society doing? Society teaching you the political game. Well, let's blame the councilman and let's blame
The mayor, and
Yeah.
let's
You know what I
blame this,
mean?
and yeah.
And
We-
it ain't
we-
got shit to do with
ain't
that.
got
Right.
nothing to do with them. Let me give you a little something. All right, and it's just not. When people say, "Well, when I was young, it wasn't so much of when I was young. It was the parents that we had then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it was
Because
also the community.
yeah, but you know what? That's because when they
This is
feel
a real
good,
podcast, and the phone might ring. Something might happen. We're taping live.
why you had to explain that?
We lie.
We live.
Ain't none of that business. Your phone ringing, ain't it?
Mhm.
Okay. Anyway, like we was saying, man, you know, you really gotta look at because so much of what's happening is they. Remember, you know how you hear people say, "Well, they did, and they said,
Mhm.
and they say us."
Mhm.
But you know what? We have this that we're gonna call them the sub gods because that's what they think they are.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But we have these people that sit up and they set this trend. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They set this form, right? And then they hand it down. So they come to the news, you know what I mean? Then they come to the videos,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Then they come to the TV shows.
Right.
Because let me tell you something. That the shit they got on TV now, you know what we saw? We saw when I was younger and they showed a bra commercial. They showed you the Playtex box. Now they show you the titties, the ass, they show you everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if that's what you bringing to me, if that's what you showing me, then that's what I'm gonna come to know.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna see as the norm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
And I mean, even to touch like, okay, because this topic is relationship, sexuality.
what I mean? Right.
I'm not homophobic. I have gay family members, gay friends,
Cause I'm a lesbian
uh,
and I'm
uh,
your
uh,
daddy.
lesbian friend who I
Okay.
think highly of. But what is exposed and what's seen, like we were looking at a normal TV show on Fox or ABC or something. And when you're looking at something like that with your child and then two men start kissing, it's like, so this couldn't, and I'm not saying that that is
Right.
not what's happening in the world. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that that isn't real life for some. But it's just like, so our children really have to be, as so young, exposed to this. They really have to be made to feel like, oh, is that what I'm supposed,
Right.
it's just so, it's just wild. And it's like, I know when I was younger, and I'm 45, when I was younger, and I was raised with my cousin, who is my same age, my cousin Myra. You hear
Mhm.
about her a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that when we were out and about, outside playing, when that goddamn street light came on,
Oh.
somebody, my Aunt Tina, somebody was at the door screaming, Myra, Creisha, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah.
It's
But
just
that-
like, and then you wonder why these things are happening. It's like, what happened to the structure? What happened to kids being kids?
Yeah.
It's okay for your child to be 10, 11, 12, and you still loving on them and they still want to mommy you or daddy you, because our children should be able to be kids.
Absolutely.
Now, children are 12, 11,
Yeah.
13,
But guess what?
having babies.
Having babies.
Just on
Yeah.
what you said, just to take that back into the relationship thing, you go on TV now, women getting their ass kicked,
Yeah.
women shooting men, shooting. You know what? You
Yeah.
starting to see a lot of stuff, and the kids just sit back saying, "Okay, well,
Is that
It's
what I'm
okay.
supposed to get?
Yeah.
Is that my value?
Our
Is that my
young-
worth?
look, our young men, our young black princes that's supposed to grow up to be kings. You know what I mean? They think that, oh well, if a woman speak her opinion, I'm gonna smack the shit out of her. Well, she supposed to do what I say do. Or a woman is led to believe that, oh, that nigga ain't working, he ain't shit. You know what I mean? Not why he not.
It's this new trend going on right now that's like, oh, he's this, he's that, he's sassy. Like that's the new thing. Oh, he's sassy. It's like cuz he is groomed, he's sassy
Wow.
because he might be sensitive to your needs. He's sassy.
What?
And it's like, no.
That's because
What?
they wanna get beat up, choked, and slapped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be beat up, choked, and slapped.
Yeah.
It's okay to be courted. And I know he did his check-in, and I necessarily haven't as far as status, but I'm a married woman,
Right.
happily married for 13 years. I've been with my husband for 20-something years, right?
Mhm.
However, I want a real man that can lead me because I want to be led. I don't want to be controlled.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to
Right.
be told
Right.
what to do, but I want my man to lead me, and I want him to be so good that I can trust that he will lead us in the right direction. And y'all
Right.
know me, and y'all know my husband. And as much as he
Mhm.
get on, not you, but
Mm-hmm.
our nerves,
Yeah, 'cause he damn
one
sure
thing
get
about
on
my
nerves.
dad is he know
Yeah.
my son-in-law got my daughter.
Yeah.
He's leading
Fucked
me.
up.
Another
Fucked
thing
up.
too, we see this thing. Girl, I had like a whole day back and forth with this chick on Facebook because it was a post about I ain't paying no bills. A man I want you to pay bills.
Mm.
Girl, shut the fuck up. Excuse my language, but that's why you single because who's signing up
To do it all by their
for
mom.
Yeah.
Hey, come on.
Because two is always better than
Two is
one.
always better
And
than
a
one.
teamwork is the best.
No, a teamwork is the dream work.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
'Cause that's what
Absolutely.
it's about.
Absolutely.
You know, and I watch her. Let me, you know what? Not to cut you off, I'm gonna let you go back.
He told
But-
me not to cut me off about
No,
3 times,
but
but
I'm
he
cutting
cuts
you
me
off.
right off.
Because I gotta speak on this while it's still fresh in my head. And I'm
You know
not
he
saying
old.
this. Your mother. Anyway, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this because it's my daughter, but I'm saying, man, I'm one of them parents that's so proud because I watched this girl. You know what? She said something to me that I'll never forget. And she always say that, Daddy, look where you was at last year. You know what I mean? She just said, look at it. She didn't say, how you get there?
Right.
What you do to get there? But I watched her, man, and with the relationship, even as far as working and everything like that, she worked. She always did. She always provided. But she told me one time, I don't know how many years ago, I can't remember, I'm old. But she said one time, I'm going to always carry my own, Daddy. I'm going to always be able to pay half of everything. So much so, I watched this girl sell dinner. She got paid. But she was so adamant, and it's not that her husband wouldn't have covered.
Right.
No, that's not what it is. But she said,
Because that's the problem. I feel like our black men are so undervalued.
Mm.
They really are.
Yes,
you know.
we are.
And even the ones that they say is bad, no, they really ain't bad. They just probably had them same type of bitches that don't think they supposed to pay no bills, that
That's
don't
right.
think they supposed to do anything.
And that put a pressure on her.
Hear me out. Right? So you got you and your man. He go to work, you go to work.
Mm-hmm.
His check come, he pay all the motherfucking bills. Your check come, you do a bunch of bullshit. Nothing, right?
Right.
So while he's spending all his money paying all the bills, you doing nothing. I'm waiting for somebody to make it. It makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that in the old day, the man went out, he worked, brought the money in. But while he worked and brought the money in, you was laying the fuck home, having 10 kids, being a homemaker. That's not what's happening.
That's not what's
today.
happening. Yeah.
Whole different day and time.
Women are
that's not what's
definitely
happening.
bossing up, and it's like
Damn
Come
right.
on.
you gonna boss up, but then you don't want a boss to work with
And
you.
I'm not saying that it doesn't look different for people, right? Because I'm not saying that the guy may not do more, the woman may not do more. It depends. You know, you have
Right.
different income brackets, people doing different things. He may pay the whole mortgage, but you pay the utilities, or you buy the groceries. You pay it doesn't matter, but help is help. When you sign up into a union, it's a partnership.
Yes.
For better or worse, for this, for that. Where the fuck do it say to take care of another bitch
Yeah.
like she my daughter?
See, 'cause everything got its time. You know
Yeah.
what?
It don't
When
say that.
When you
Yeah.
got a partnership like that, okay, I'm in a time where I'm prospered. So
Mhm.
I'm getting that bank. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I'm taking care of everything.
But
Okay,
guess
shit
what?
changed.
But guess what?
so
but guess
now,
what? The same way if something was to happen to my husband today or tomorrow,
hello.
and I don't mean death or nothing like that. I just mean anything.
Right.
If something was to happen to my husband today or tomorrow, it has to feel good in him to be able to, like, I know my wife can hold it down. Is
Right.
it the best feeling? No, I haven't been there. But
Right.
but to be able to say, we won't lose this. Our mortgage won't be behind. Our cars won't
There
be
you go.
repossessed. We won't be in the dark, and vice versa. If
Mhm.
something happens to me, I know that my person can hold it down.
That's right.
Right.
Marriage is a partnership.
Yes.
It's not a usership. It's not a sponsorship.
Mm.
It is a
Relationships
partnership. It's a
are
relationship.
like that.
Yeah.
See what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
And it's just like nobody is signing up for that.
No.
You sound like a prostitute and you want to go trick. Then
Yeah.
go trick.
Yeah.
That's not for my. I just. It's nobody that could ever make that make sense to me.
Yeah.
No.
It's not. If you are a person that maybe make more, of course you'll carry on take on a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
while he's showering you and paying the bills and doing like, what you doing for him? You don't think a man like to get a gift?
Right.
You don't think a man like to,
Get showered.
come on.
Yeah.
And I just feel like
Yeah.
when you have those healthy relationships with two people, partners, the sky's the limit. It's nowhere that you cannot go.
Yeah.
And you have to support one another.
It
And that's
balances
just
out.
that.
Yeah.
It balances itself out in the long run.
But
It
this
does.
is a great point. You said a healthy relationship.
Bingo.
Absolutely.
And
I ain't say a perfect one.
right,
No.
it's not
No.
perfect,
I said a healthy.
but healthy.
Right.
And it's
It's
like
a big difference.
people
Mm.
people
It's
gonna
a big
argue,
difference.
people are gonna disagree. You and your husband came from two different backgrounds, so of
Right.
course you're trying to bring
different experiences, yeah.
You're trying to bring it together. What I've experienced in my relationship, because I'm the youngest one here, is people want you to cover for their faults so bad, and they don't want to put the work into making themselves better.
No, you know what? That's some hellacious shit you just said. I ain't know you was that deep. You know what I mean?
Whatever.
But that's some fly ass shit.
Whatever.
That's fact. That's fact, and that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Speak
It's like
on it.
I don't want to put in the work, and I want to come to you half, you're whole, but then you want me to cover your half, and now I'm degraded to whole.
Yeah.
I mean to half.
to have.
Right.
Yeah, to half. And it's like, no, you need to put in the work
Yeah.
to become whole. And this is where it comes in with getting to know that person.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
if I'm your friend first, and then I'm like, you know what? These are the red flags, because a lot of times we do ignore the red flags and
Yeah.
the signs and the signals.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we just be friends and I allow you to work on being whole,
Yeah.
and then we can become whole together
But
And
guess what?
healthy.
and healthy.
But here's the hit to that. If I'm whole
Mm-hmm.
and you come into the relationship, and like you say, you have.
Mm-hmm.
Once you come into that relationship, nigga, you whole. If I'm whole, you whole. I don't want half. I'm whole. What the
Mhm.
hell I'm gonna do with half?
What I'm gonna do with
know what I
half?
mean?
But if you have a person that has that mentality, that they want you to be, the whole needs to be from you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
be kept. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be the kept
Yeah.
woman,
Yeah.
and the whole needs to come from you.
But that's why relationships turn into bullshit.
And people really need to. And I'm
feel
gonna
me?
tell you something else. People jump into these relationships so fast. You meet a dude, 3-4 weeks, he done moved in, he living with your kids and all of that. If you would really, really take the time to get to know people, I'm gonna be honest, you will learn what you need to know before you
Hell
even
yeah.
make that move.
Make that move.
And a
yeah.
lot of times you make it and you see it. You know that list, do the good, outweigh the bad,
Yeah.
that dumb shit.
Yeah.
You see it, and it is okay, which goes back to what you said. It is okay to be by yourself until
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
that person. It is okay to have standards. It is
Mhm.
okay to have values. It is
Right.
okay to want a certain thing and to not settle. I go back to perfect because my relationship is not perfect. If I just sat here and told you that I've been with my husband for 23, 24 years, clearly it ain't been perfect. We were so young. We've been through stuff and all of that. But thankfully, and I thank God for it, we were able to get past those things. We
Mhm.
were able to
Right.
marry, we have kids, all of these things. However, again, we came from two totally different worlds. So
Mhm.
it
Right.
still was a process putting everything together because
Right.
my husband came from what looked to me like a storybook family,
Mhm.
right? And I'm not saying I had a bad family. I'm not saying that, but you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It was a little more different. I used it.
Thank you very much.
And don't get me wrong, and not to run deep in this, and
I
I'm
feel
sure
you.
my father don't mind because
No,
who he is
no.
who he is. But
Exactly.
my father went to prison when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
When my father came home from prison, I was 21 and a mother of 2 children.
Yeah.
So now, one thing, shout out to my mother, is that my dad was in prison. She made sure I saw him. She made sure I talked to him. My family, my uncles, they made sure my sister, because my dad also has another daughter. I have a sister. We were taken to visit him and all of those things. So I always had a good relationship with my dad. However, he went to prison as I was a child. He came home and I was a grown ass woman
with children.
With children.
Yeah, with
So,
children.
When my dad came home, we was road that we was friends more than anything, and I thank my mother for it. And don't get me wrong, she get on my nerves. I love my mother, but sometimes she get on my nerves. I love my father, and sometimes he get on my nerves. But one thing that I will say to my mother is, shout out to my mother, because she really held it down. And whereas I only had one parent, it didn't feel that way. My mother covered. Like, she made sure I had everything that I needed. She made sure, what I wanted I had. Could some things have been done differently? Absolutely. She was a young mother learning, but I did not have that kind of daddy issue because I had a relationship with my father that I was able to keep going and build, and we fed each other with that. And not to speak on my sister because I can't speak for her, but I was 10. My sister was much younger when my dad went to prison. She was 2. So she wasn't able to, keep that relationship going as steady as I was, because at 2, it's up to somebody else to do it. Right. But at 10, I could pick up the phone myself and be like, hey, daddy,
Right.
So at 10, I had a chance to know him a lot more than she'd had a chance to know him.
Right.
So I say all of that to say, we built this relationship. While my dad was in prison, I went to see him. I had kids. It was some things I know he was probably disappointed in me, and I was disappointed that he wasn't there. But I had my kids, and when he came home, I was an adult. A lot of times when these women got daddy issues, they look for what they missed in these guys. And it just is what it is. It's a fact. Yeah. I didn't have that. And it's like when my dad came home, we were friends, and we literally... It was like we had never left. We picked up where we had never left. So I just say all that to say sometimes, therapy is okay, because when you need to work on yourself and fix some of those issues before you can be any good to anybody else, you have to be good to yourself.
I definitely can say I go to therapy. And I had daddy issues, and I had to work through my daddy issues, and I noticed that I would choose things that I didn't like about my dad, but it was attractive to me. It was attractive, and I try to fix those things because I'm like, well, if I'm fixing, not consciously but subconsciously, if I try to fix this in this woman, because I deal with women, of course, then it's almost like subconsciously I'm fixing my dad. I'm fixing the relationship with my dad.
That's heavy.
And I had to get through that and work through it.
I'm not even going to say I didn't have daddy issues, because I like to think that I didn't have daddy issues. I think that
Daddy gave you a reason to have some issues.
I think I chose not to have daddy issues. Exactly. I chose to understand. Hear me out. What I put in my head is, as hard as it was for me to have my father gone away for all of those years, God damn, how hard could it have been for him?
Right.
If that makes sense. How hard could it be for him to have 2 daughters
and have to be away from him,
show up for? So I think that I decided to not beat him full of guilt and this is what you did. It was like, I can't change what has happened. And I mean, I think I turned out pretty damn okay. But what I do choose to do is have a healthy, genuine relationship with my father. And I think sometimes people don't quite understand me and my father's relationship. Like, if anybody know me, they know. You're going to probably see me hanging out with my dad before you see me with my husband, my kids. I'm very private when it comes to, like, my husband and my children and my private life. But me and my dad... People probably think it's just me and him. Me and my husband do a whole lot of things. They just don't make the internet.
Right. Because we're going to talk about that. About needing gratification for your relationship through the internet.
And you know, it's like, my dad is like my best friend. And this show's not about dad and daughter relationships, clearly. But he's like my best friend.
Relationship.
And we have a relationship that is, it's unbiased. I will
Yeah.
absolutely say
Yeah.
that. It's no judgment for me. I love my father for the fact that if it was not for him, I would not be here.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And I do
Alhamdulillah. That's what I'm
everything.
talking
He may not know. He show up for me in ways that he probably don't even really recognize that he's showing up for me for, as I show up for him, in ways. This is one relationship that is 100% genuine. I
Yeah.
will cuss and fuss when I think he getting on my nerves, he doing some
Yeah.
shit. And he fuss and cuss and we pick back up.
Mm-hmm.
And some people may not understand that, but I choose to not be angry. I choose to not be
Yeah.
bitter. I choose to have a healthy, amazing relationship
Yeah.
with my
Yeah.
father,
Yeah.
whatever that may look like.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And another thing that I'll say, and then I'm going to let one of y'all grab this mic. My husband and my father have an amazing relationship.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's my road. That's
Amazing. My
road.
father, my husband will cuss his ass
He get
out.
on my nerves, but
He'll cuss my
Yo.
father out.
yeah.
My father will cuss him out. My father stay at my house like he live there. He don't live there. He got
Yes,
his
he
own
do.
place.
Yeah.
But when he get mad
Ain't
at us,
got nothing to do with that.
Yes,
Stay
he
out.
do.
when he get mad at us, Shakira, he go home. And my husband like, let that nigga go home.
Yeah.
Then my husband be calling him like, nigga, where you at?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I thank God for
I
that.
say I'm home. He say, well.
Them healthy relationships.
Yeah,
I have
healthy.
an amazing
Yeah.
relationship with my mother-in-law.
But you know what? And like you said,
But that's showing family.
yeah, but
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
that. Let's get the relationship. See, but that just go to show, like she say, oh, I done did some fucked up shit. And guess what? My baby hung tough with me. Not to say she wasn't mad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she was mad. God damn, was she mad? Cussed me out and
Mm-hmm.
everything. You know, a few times ain't talked to me for a while, which tore
Right.
me the hell up. But that's what relationships
This is about. Yeah.
You're gonna go through. You're gonna go
But
through
let me
ups
tell
and
you something.
downs.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Oh Lord, what did I say? What
No,
did I
ain't
say?
you? Because you said relationships go through stuff, and they do. But you also got to know when to hold and when to fold.
Fold.
Yes,
And
Yes,
you gotta
Lord.
know
Yes,
what
sir.
relationship is for you and what relationship
Relationship
is
is
not.
not for
You
you.
gotta know when a motherfucker is a downright hater.
What?
When they want you to do okay, but not better than them. When they
Listen.
mad because you exceed the expectations that they have set for you.
Mhm.
You gotta know when
Or
to
you've
hold.
exceeded them.
Or when you just gotta know when
You
to
know what I
hold
mean?
and when to fold. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that all relationships don't take work. They take work.
Yes.
Friendships take work.
Yes.
Relationships
Take work. Yeah.
Especially when let's say you got these relationships and friendships, and then you get a significant other. It can look different.
Shit changed.
Shit change.
Yeah.
Hey, let it change though.
But you know what? And I'll speak on that because one thing about me, I love my husband. He gonna come before anybody,
Yeah.
right? However, I have never switched up on my friendships because I feel like the same way you need that ship with your
Yes.
spouse,
Yes.
you need that ship
Yeah.
with your
Yes.
friend.
Yes.
You
Yes.
need that ship
Yeah.
with your parent.
Yeah.
You need that ship with your children. Because guess what? These motherfucking kids gonna get grown and move out.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
I love my children. It ain't
Yeah.
nothing I wouldn't do for them in the world.
Mhm.
But guess what? I love my man. And y'all gonna get grown and y'all gonna go make your own lives.
And it's gonna be you and him.
build your own shit. And it's gonna be me and his old ass
And
together.
me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I kind of get a little touchy when people put on that. Do the kids come first? Do the
Yeah,
husband come first?
yeah.
Why
Mhm.
can't they come equally?
Yeah,
You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? Especially when
Exactly.
you have a good spouse.
Exactly.
Why
Yeah.
can't they come equally? Nothing comes before my children, right?
Yeah.
But nothing comes before my husband.
Husband
either.
either. Yeah.
And guess what? Even with the husband and the kids, if I'm gonna have to choose, like, okay, which one of these can come first, and then which one can come
Yeah.
60 seconds after? That's not me choosing one or the other.
No.
You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying?
No.
Because you need to have this healthy
Relationship.
mom and dad, or mom and stepdad,
Yes,
or whatever. You need to
absolutely.
have that.
But you know what? Even in her saying that, let me say this, and we don't mean to get religious, but everybody gotta know. First and foremost, God comes first before
Anything. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because without that, you ain't got shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're not gonna go there with it. But let me tell you this: if you look at half these kids today, I'm gonna say 98% of them, they don't know shit about God. They don't know nothing about
Yeah.
God. So
There's
guess
no
what?
fear.
That kills the foundation.
But
And
you know what?
reverence.
I'm
Telling
guilty. I'm guilty of that because as a child, I was raised in a church.
So you know him.
My grandmother, my dad's mother, every Sunday like clockwork. I didn't miss church, right?
Mhm.
But then I got to a point where my grandmother passed away. I was 13, I think.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest, and my mother was really heavy in the church. Also, my mother went to church, but my grandmother was the person that kind of, I ain't gonna say made me, but it was almost like something I looked forward to, because I knew on Sundays me and grandma going to church, then we going to lunch at the Golden Corral. Like this was my special time with her, right? So I went. When she passed away, I was angry that she passed away, and I was like, well, I got a choice and I'm not going, right? And I stopped going to church. And even as an adult, when I tried to, find somebody else to sit under and guide me, I just couldn't find it. And I felt like everybody was hypocrites and it was just crazy. And that didn't mean I didn't love God, absolutely.
But see,
I
It just
that's
meant
the
that you didn't go.
difference.
But see,
But
the
no,
church
but look,
is a building.
But this is the point that I'm making.
But she knew God.
I definitely knew God, but this is the point that I'm making. In that, I dropped the ball when it came to my children, because my children never really had an opportunity to be in the church building. And as a child, that was one of the best things, going to Sunday school and, all of these things. So my two older children kind of didn't get that, because it just wasn't what I was into. Don't get me wrong. They might have went to a summer camp at the church or something with my other, little cousins, but they didn't have that. And then you had my son, who's 11, and I thank God for my mother-in-law, who's very, very heavy into the church. My son has had an opportunity to experience that. He's a part of a church home. He goes to church for the most part every Sunday, outside of now him having sports and stuff. But I thank God for that and my mother-in-law, because he thoroughly enjoys it. He gets up, he ushers, he does things. So you need God. God is absolutely first, number one, and these children don't know it. They don't.
Even with that, let's go back to the day. Because now they got that so confusing for a child. They go into the church now and they want 40 offerings and get your money. Or
they go into church and all the gay men dressed up with lipstick and eyebrows. Because I will tell you, my son is like, and I won't say what church and nothing like that, but my son be like, man, the men is so flamboyant and so switching it.
But wait a minute. It ain't just the churches. Now I'm saying I go to mass jail. You know what I mean? For all you Muslim brothers, salam alaikum. But let me say this for what it is. No, I'm not seeing no gay stuff or nothing in there. But at the same token, I'm hearing things that, I know God.
Right.
Not no particular sect. I choose Islam because of what it means. And then we're not going into no religious church.
Right.
But just for a little understanding, and a Muslim is one who submits his will to God. As with a Christian, is one who's supposed to be Christ-like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But we get far away from that. And that has a lot to do with relationships.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Because you Christ-like and you dating a motherfucker that's the devil.
Hello, it's like
and,
this.
And you know what?
The
I'm going to be
devil.
honest. I would say I'm spiritually sensitive. And
because you know God.
Because my discernment be on point.
Yeah.
And that is one of the biggest struggles that I've had being in the lesbian community, is there's this misconception of, oh, you don't know God, oh, you don't know this. And we tying everything that we've talked about previously on this show. Yeah. But literally, I've had the hardest time finding a mate that is okay with me
understanding God,
and having a relationship with God.
I give you one that'll give you something. And God said we ain't supposed to be out there having sex and everything unless we married. Whether you
so what
Christian,
makes your sin any different than mine?
See, understand this. The hell with what people say. Because, see, that's between you and God.
You and your God.
Not you and Joe Blow.
Right.
Not you and this person that don't understand. So, again, we go into relationships. Because if you can't find nobody that understand that you love God, what?
It's like
I know.
Trash and daddy issues and damage and the dating pool as a whole.
It's piss in the water.
It's definitely piss in the water. It's definitely piss in the water.
And there's other people in there and you piss in the water.
But you know something too, y'all? Like the kind of thing on track that I noticed too with relationships. What people have to understand is that a person is given to you for a certain amount of time.
Ooh.
You understand what I'm saying?
What
Ooh.
they call it, a reason, a season, or a day?
A person is given to you for a certain amount of time. And if that certain amount of time is 6 months, or if that certain amount of time is a lifetime,
Right.
you are not the owner of them.
Yeah.
You do not own them. You do not possess them. You do not control them. You do not tell them what to do. And I think a lot of times that's what happens when you don't have that respect for one another. And
Right.
my husband talk big shit. I ain't say you can do that. But he respects me, and I respect him.
Yeah.
I respect him. I can't be no insecure ass woman. Where you going? What you doing? Who you with?
Nah.
He can't leave without me calling. I can't leave. I ain't doing that.
That shit don't work.
Because if I'm married,
Mm-hmm.
let me take my Baltimore married. If I am
Take your
married,
Baltimore, man.
if I am married,
No, be married.
if I'm married to this dude, right?
Yeah, you know what?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I'm married to a person and it's supposed to be trust, it's supposed to be respect. It's no way in the world you gotta check in with me, say where you at. If I ain't talked to you for an hour, you doing.
But you use the operative word. What'd you just say?
Because guess what?
supposed to be.
Supposed to be. Yeah.
I don't own him.
Supposed to be.
He doesn't own me.
Right.
He's a grown man. It is up to him to make the best decision
Hello.
about what he should do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not up to me to, where you at? What you doing? That shit is for the birds. You will run a whole man away.
And
You
see,
run a whole woman
away,
I
yeah.
told
Who's
you,
doing that?
I choose to be by myself. And my daughter tell you.
Yeah.
Because I done been in some
Because I've
relationship
literally
that-
watched that.
without a doubt.
I literally watched
and
that
guess
with
what?
you.
You
Yeah.
watch it with him.
Yeah, I watched that with you.
And
That's
listen,
because I've been through it before and I ain't going to do
but
it
wait
again.
a minute, Joe.
Right.
Wait a minute, Shy. Let me say this. Because real recent, he had.
Don't be putting my business
I'm not. But just real recent, he had
She
that
not talking about me.
situation, right? And it was so crazy because that's my dad, and I know my father is zero tolerance. Like, you're not gonna start questioning him. Where you going? Where you at? Where you? He was none of it, right?
Right.
So I saw it, and he like, no, and she do what? And I'm like, tick tock.
No, that's what she said.
You know
That's what
how
she
you
said.
be like,
Mm.
one,
You know what she said?
two, Freddie's coming
We
for
were sitting,
you.
we were sitting in the kitchen. She said, "You get ready to cut her the fuck off."
I was like, this is not gonna
I
work.
know
Yeah,
you
this is not
better
gonna work.
than you know yourself,
Yeah.
and I'm saying, nah. Well, you know,
No,
it ain't
listen.
like that. And look, a week later,
In the beginning, Shy, where she was calling every 5 seconds and
Yeah.
blah blah, it was all
that
good.
shit'll
Yeah.
drive you crazy.
And I
It will.
saw it brewing, and I was like,
Mm.
and all she showed him the crazy side one time, and I was like, up. Then she showed him it again. Girl, he removed every
Everything.
piece of contact that she could have ever made with him.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I get it, because it's like my dad is 66 years old.
Yeah.
If you think he could ready have somebody like he 30, where you at? What you doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody,
Trying to get my social security and shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
like, no.
Not like that.
And don't get me wrong, I want my father to have a companionship and
Right.
a significant other. But because I know my dad, I know it's going to take a special kind of lady.
Yeah.
And I just say special because it's going to have to be a person that understands the relationship that he has with his daughters. It's going to have to be a person that understands the relationship that he has with his grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
A person that understands the relationship that he has with
They
his
my babies.
son-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We are going to always come first. And I hate to say that because I don't
Mhm.
want to sound
But
selfish,
it's the
but
Right.
truth. It's the truth because understand this. I've been.
she
like
got
you
to be a
said,
part of the get-along.
Yeah,
gang.
Yeah.
See, I'm 66 years old, man. I've been through a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? And I'm telling you something. And it's not that I didn't pay attention, because I'm a very conscious individual, even though I done made some fucked up moves.
Mm-hmm.
But from that, it's you learning from that shit.
Mhm.
And I done seen some shit that I'm saying, when you see those signs,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of times I said, oh, well, yeah, I've seen that ass, so shit.
Right.
Or I seen this, or shit, I'm gonna change that.
I'm gonna change it. Yeah.
I'm
and-
shit,
and
I'm gonna whip
listen.
it on, and she gonna change that, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna treat her like this. She gonna change that. Shit didn't change.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And I wasn't mad afterwards because guess what? I saw it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
chose
Yeah.
not to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
You know, so I let it go on. I'm at an age now where I'm saying, no, fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not. One, I have a family, a loving family, unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? We deal with each other from straight up love. And if a person can't understand that,
Yeah.
nigga,
And
you
that-
in trouble.
And some people were born and raised in struggle, and some people were
Yeah.
raised in love, and that's the difference.
But understand this.
But wait
we
a
all
minute.
have struggled
I
at
was
some point
about
in
to
time.
say, understand this because
Yeah.
I got a struggle in the love,
Yeah.
right?
I would say I have a struggle in
I
the
have a
love
struggle
too.
in it. But
Yeah.
I think that the struggle in the love has been awesome for me because I had two parents that loved me dearly.
Mm-hmm.
But I also had two parents who did the best that they could do with the tools that they had in their
Yes,
Hello.
yes, yes,
Right?
yes.
Now you talking.
My parents were teenage parents,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But they did the best that they could do with the tools that they had.
Yeah.
So they built me as
Right.
best as they could.
Nah.
Which in turn I had some struggle,
Mhm.
especially when I started to make the choices that I chose to make
Yeah.
as a
Hello.
teenager,
Hello.
right?
The opposite word, choices.
Choices.
Yeah,
the
choices,
choices that
yeah.
I chose to make.
Yeah.
But what I will
Come on.
say is, yes, I have the love and yes, I have the struggle because I came from that world of both. But hear me out. I think it shows in my children because I don't want my children to see struggle.
Yeah.
And my children are absolutely loved. And they
Yeah.
know that, right? But then we talked about those choices because I have two grown daughters
Mm.
who chose things for themselves. And I'm not saying
Exactly.
bad things. I'm just
Right.
saying they chose things for them as I chose things for me
Right.
that sometimes facilitates the way that things work, right?
Right.
But one thing that I can say, even my two grown children, I have 4 children, 3 of which are grown.
Right.
But my 2 older daughters, they know that, hey, this is what I chose for me. And it's great. I'm not saying it's bad. But they know that my mother loves me.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing that my mother will not do for me.
Yeah.
However, as an adult, there are some choices that you made, and I will let you wallow in them bitches for a
Right.
little while.
Hell
Right,
yeah.
right.
Better
Because
know
they're
it.
your choices, and
Right.
you're an
Better
adult.
know it.
And a lot of times, too, that also helps you to learn how to figure things out. My oldest daughter, God, I love that girl. When I say
That's my baby.
she is me almost to a fault with the hustle and with the grind and with the, we're different because she's a different person. I'm a different person.
Without a
but
doubt.
but and that's why I say your children watch you.
Everything.
And that little bit of that struggle that I'm like, yeah, I had love and I had
Yeah.
struggle. And as much as I thought I kept it from them, they see it. My
Yeah.
daughter is a hustler. She's a go-getter. And then I got another daughter, my middle daughter, who is going to work her ass off.
Mhm.
She going to pay her bills. But
Yeah.
she, mommy.
But
Y'all
she-
know
Right.
it.
Right.
She
Right.
a
Right.
fruitcake.
But it is
But
what it is.
I
And
love her
then,
to death.
but you got to remember, in those relationships, I was 17 when I had one and 19
Yeah.
when I had the other.
Mhm.
So I was young. Whereas my other children, I was 27, I think, when I had
Yeah.
one, and 35 when I had the
Yeah.
other, or something like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So they got to see a different mother.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I was a grown ass
You grown-
woman
you're
at that point,
mature.
right?
You're
Right.
mature,
And with
then
my
you
2
learn.
oldest
Yeah.
daughters, I was kind of growing
Growing
with
in-
them
Right.
as it
Yeah.
was happening.
Exactly.
So they got their relationship and what they perceive and see as what we had, and then you have my other 2. However, overall, equally, my children know I love them.
Mhm.
It is
Yeah.
nothing that I would not
Without a
do
doubt.
for them.
Mhm.
But I tell them, I know life looked a little different for you.
Mhm.
And I know life
Yeah.
looked a little different
Right.
for you. But as a growing woman, I did the best I could with
Yeah.
the tools
Dude,
that,
that
I
I had,
But
in
yeah.
my
even,
toolbox, right?
even using what she said, you know what? Her mother did some crazy shit, and we did some good shit. Her father did some fucked up shit. But let me tell you something. She told all 4 of them little motherfuckers, man, and I loved them to death. That's your grandfather. That's your grandmother. I bet I never see you disrespect them.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
They love you, and you should love them. My grandkids love me to death.
Yes, they do.
You know what I mean? They love their grandma.
Sometimes to a
they
fault,
do.
because my kids be like, you act like grandma ain't do that. You act like
Right.
granddad ain't do that. And I told them, they might have, but so the fuck what? Because
Yeah.
if it wasn't them, it wouldn't be me and it wouldn't be you. And what
Mhm.
you're going to do
But
is
at the same
respect
token,
them.
them.
guess
Yeah.
what? Guess what? The mistakes we made, look what we got from it.
Yeah.
Because she looked at that shit.
Yeah.
You know what? It's a trip when you got to look at the mistakes of your mother, your father, and yourself.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now you got to balance that shit.
Yeah.
Because now it's going into your kids.
But let
Yeah.
me let me
You know
let
what I
me
mean?
say this. You gotta be really careful because, and I'm gonna take my time, just like 36, 45 seconds with this. I want to take my time because I want y'all to catch this, right?
I'm
Mhm.
not quite sure if it's 36
So-
or 45.
It's probably like 2 minutes. But listen,
Didn't she say 45 seconds?
relatives, right?
Right.
Come on, buddy.
Relatives, we're giving them, right?
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
born, You got a mother, you got an aunt, you got a cousin, you got a uncle,
You
aunt.
ain't choose them, but you got them.
You got them,
Got 'em.
right?
Yeah.
They're given to you.
Yes.
So those are those ships that you didn't get to choose, right?
Yeah.
You just do the best with it, whatever. Just because they your relatives don't make them a good person.
Yeah.
It don't make them a bad person. Because you got Uncle Ed, the rapist, the molesters. You got Aunt fucking Ethel, the drunk.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying that to say we are giving these people, right? We don't get to choose them. I will challenge everybody to pick meaningful relationships with your friends because we get to
Yes.
choose them.
Yes.
These are people that we choose to be in our lives,
Man.
right?
That was happy. Go.
We get to
Yeah.
choose them for because one time, not that long
They
ago,
are the one things that we can choose.
we get to choose,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay.
I didn't even think about that in 66 years.
I'm telling you because it used to be a time where I yelled, "No new friends."
Listen, we had that conversation.
But look,
Yeah.
I yelled no new friends because so many motherfuckers was so shady and was moving so fucked up, right?
Right.
Then I was like, why not no new friends? Because as I started to do different things in my life and my feet started to plant into different rooms and I
Yes,
started to meet
yes.
different people,
Yeah.
I started to really meet good, genuine people. And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, I was yelling no new friends last year.
Yeah.
Why not? Because I get to choose you based off of what you've shown me,
Right.
based off of what we've built,
Right.
what a friendship looks like for us.
Us. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I chose you. So be open to new friends. Be open to meeting new people. Be open to that because that's the one thing that you get to choose.
Mhm.
But you also get to walk away
From those
Exactly.
relatives.
from the
Exactly.
and from
Listen.
those new ships
And
if
those
they ain't right.
Yeah. And we're going
Oh,
to
see,
end.
wait a minute.
We're going to end with
Cousin.
this. We're going to end with this.
Go with
right? We're going to end with. I've definitely been no new friends all my life.
Mm-hmm.
In the last year and a half, I've literally created boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
I've literally opened myself up to new people. And what most people from the outside looking in thought is a relationship based off of monetary gain,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
right? Paper,
Yeah.
something you can rip up,
Every time.
was not a relationship off of monetary gain.
Right.
It was an actual impartation that was happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally, as they would say, bossed up.
Yeah.
Greater than what I thought myself could do.
You
Okay.
gotta tell it.
And that's the value. That's
You
the
stop
value.
limiting in yourself.
Yeah.
That's the value.
Because Boogie, I love you.
And I love you too.
And I love y'all too.
And we love you too.
And
but
again,
Yes.
choose those healthy relationships.
Yes.
Choose it.
Yes.
We get to choose that.
There
We
are
do.
some things that you can make choices with.
Yes.
Your relationships, the woman that you lay next to, or you be with, or you hang out with. You know what I mean? The so-called friend. You got to use it lightly.
And you can't tell people who to be and what to be, but you
Hey.
can tell them what you are willing to accept.
Accept.
Yes.
And then if you're not willing
Period.
to accept it, don't accept it.
We're going to end it with that.
And we're going to end with that.
We're going to end it with that.
Why
Because we
not?
could keep talking on and on and on.
You make me want to whistle that Mayberry off you.
Is that Leave It to Beaver?
This has been the
Oh,
All Inclusive Podcast.
That is.
And with that, we out.
We are.
Peace.